I actually wasn't even going to do a vid tonight, but I just was shown a vid on Facebook by a new YouTube user calling herself the Red Owl XOXO. And what she has done, she started a channel specifically with the purpose of providing support and safety zone for those who are bullied, which is great. Um, One of the things she says in there is, how with females, what bullying a lot of times aims towards is appearance, and how horrible this is, and how people who would bully someone just because of the way they look, they're ugly inside. Doesn't matter what you look like on the outside, they are ugly inside. And this reminded me of an old blog that I did during my interim between when I had left YouTube and when I came back. I blogged a little bit. And one of the blogs was a parable that I wrote called Roses and Wine. I've been intending to make it into a video for a while, and I see this as the perfect opportunity. So, there once was a traveling wise man. He went from town to town teaching and socializing. One day, he came upon a town in which there lived two sisters, Susanna and Elizabeth. Now, these two sisters were very different from one another. Susanna was the most beautiful woman in the town, but was mean-spirited and cruel, while Elizabeth was the kindest soul anyone knew, but rather plain-looking. The wise man found this interesting, and so he observed the sisters for a time. He saw that Susanna was constantly tormenting Elizabeth for her appearance, while Elizabeth would just take it and weep silently. So the wise man thought of a plan. He approached the sisters and offered to buy them a gift each. Telling them to wait, he went to a local merchant and returned with a rose and a rough-hewn clay pot full of wine. To Susanna he gave the rose, to Elizabeth the pot of wine. He then told them, "I have given you these gifts because they are like you. I will return here in 10 years to the day to explain how." With that he left town. 10 years passed and the sisters waited. The wise man returned just as he promised. Before he revealed himself to the sisters, he once more observed them. Susanna was still cruel-hearted, but her beauty had faded with age. Elizabeth had remained unchanged in appearance, but had grown perhaps even kinder. Revealing himself to the sisters, the wise man said, "I have returned, as I promised. Now take me to see the gifts I gave you, and I shall tell you their meaning." So the sisters took the wise man back to their home and showed him the gifts. Susanna showed him what was left of the rose first, saying, "I tried my best to preserve it, but it rotted away, leaving nothing but the dried stem." The wise man saw this and asked, "Susanna, do you know why this rose is like you?" "It is because that it, like you, was once beautiful. But that beauty doesn't last, and all that is left is a dried-out twig. With your cruel heart, you, like this rose, had only your beauty going for you. And now that that beauty is gone, you both have nothing. You squandered your years of beauty on being cruel, and now you are as worthless to your peers as this twig." Upon hearing this, Susanna collapsed in the corner weeping. Next, Elizabeth showed him the pot of wine, saying, "I've drunk nothing of it but a glass a year on the anniversary of when you gave it to me. It's such a large pot that its contents have barely diminished at all." The wise man saw this and asked, "Elizabeth, do you know why this pot of wine is like you? It is like you because on the outside it is rather plain-looking, but on the inside it is sweet. And over the years it has aged and become sweeter still, as you have. You've spent your years being kind to others, who have been kind to you in return, which has in turn made you kinder still. The moral: inner beauty ages like wine, outer beauty like a rose. Which do you think is more valuable?" Good night, all.